Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to today's bonus upload. Only one more upload and then tonight's live stream. Looking forward to that. Before we get into tonight's bonus, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. Click that like button. It takes half a second. And please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things help, and they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's bonus, shall we? Today's first part of the upload is a subscriber submission. Hello, Jeff. Thank you for reaching out. While I'm not sure this is worthy of your show, here goes. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was driving from Crogville to London on Highway O, just outside of Deerfield, when I got the oddest, absolute cold feeling of being watched. Now, the corn is 6 feet tall right now, so seeing into the fields is iffy. But I had slowed down, and the feeling got more intense. Slowed from 55 to 35 to make a corner at the bridge over the creek. I had my windows down because it was 4 p.m. or so in the afternoon. I yelled out the window, "Show yourself or leave me the F alone. I'm not putting up with this BS." It was like it was instinct to do so, and it went away. I thought nothing more of it. So jump forward about a week or 10 days ago. I'm coming home around midnight from Columbus, which is north of Deerfield on Highway 73. I'm tooling along and get set for 4 90-degree corners and get the odd feeling again. My windows are down again, but this time I feel the need to roll them up. So I'm bitching about the odd feeling to myself when I saw something pretty good size dart across the road from the field to field, just outside of my headlights. I know it was not a deer, bear, cow, deer, etc., easily determined by size, speed, and animal's gait. But I have no idea what it could have been. Anyway, the eerie feeling stuck around for about 5 minutes until I rounded the next corner. I stopped in Marshall, the town in between, and got a drink. Asked the bartenders if anyone's reported seeing anything bigger than a dog but smaller than a cow and dark-colored running around. One jokingly asked if it was on 2 legs, to which I replied no, it was on all 4. If it was on 2 legs, I could have figured out what it was, and would have been doing shots. The guy got weirdly quiet, though, after my answer. I decided it was time to leave as my hands were still shaking a bit, but I wanted to get home. So that's about it as far. Like I said, it's too close to my home for my liking. I don't want encounters with these damn things any more than I want another one with Bigfoot. Had 3 of them and I'm done with hunting like I used to. You know, walking in and out of the woods well before or after daylight. Any info on how to dissuade or direct their attention elsewhere, should I be becoming interesting to them, would be greatly appreciated. Also, this is about 15 to 20 minutes away from Jefferson. Bray Road Beast. Well, my friend, I definitely am going to send you an email because I'm interested in your Bigfoot encounters. I'd like to possibly narrate them on this channel, or have you on the show. As of redirecting their attention, I don't think they are honed in on you. I think what it is it's fall time, and maybe you being right place, wrong time. Yeah, it is an eerie coincidence that you had two basic eerie feelings and possibly a sighting within 10 days of each other. But like you said, you're done with hunting, you're done in being out in the woods. So I really honestly don't think they are directed at you. I think what it is it's just you guys passing each other as life goes on. I'm sure in the comment section some subscribers may have some input as well. But if you're hearing this, check your email, because I am going to be sending you an invitation for either me narrating your Bigfoot encounters or having you on. Thanks for sharing. Today's second terrifying encounter. Hello everybody, my name is Brian and I'm somewhat of an adrenaline junkie. What I do to get this fix of adrenaline is I would go out in search of nothing in particular and just hope something happens. Sometimes I get more than I wanted. This is one of those stories, with the exception that I wasn't seeking adrenaline this time. Be warned that some events in this story may be disturbing for the faint of heart. This is your warning. Continue at your own risk. The date is October 14th, 2010. I used to live on a decently sized property in the mountains of northwestern Georgia. I loved it up there. So many places to wander off to and so many places to have a little hideout. It was the day before my uncle's birthday, and me and him wanted to go out to our favorite hangout spot, which we called the Broccoli Tree. In a nutshell, it was an uprooted tree with a big enough hole to fit a couple of chairs and some other things where the roots had been. We did some modifications and put a tarp over it so we could stay in it if there was rain. So my uncle and myself are walking out to the tree, which is a good 15-minute walk from the front porch of my house. As soon as we break into the tree line, we start messing around and pushing each other playfully, without a care in the world. My uncle and I had walked to the tree so many times we could find it in the pitch black, so we weren't really that afraid. I sort of had this feeling that we were being watched, but I just shrugged it off a little and kept walking. Skip forward a little bit to the arrival at the tree. Nothing seemed out of place, so we went inside and sat down. We started talking about specific things and what he had seen out hunting and things like that. Then he mentioned skinwalkers. Confused, I asked him what it was, and he broke it down so I could understand. He said that they were half man, half beast, that they could shapeshift. I laughed at this and asked him if he had been playing too much Diablo recently, not thinking he was serious. He looked at me in the eyes with a dead serious look on his face and said he saw one while he was hunting. My excitement immediately turned to fear as I remembered that I felt something watching us on the way to the tree. I told him I had a feeling we were being watched, and he said he had that too. We started listening closely to see if we could hear anything outside the tree, but everything was silent. We both looked at each other and decided we had to leave. We emerged from the tree, and he tells me to jump onto his back so he could run. So I do, and at that moment I was on his back, and he had a tight grip. We heard something from behind us. I go to turn around and look to see what it was, but my uncle told me not to. Then he started running to the house in almost pitch-black darkness with something chasing after us. I could hear its footfalls behind us and heavy breathing as it got louder, as if it was getting closer. I scream faster at my uncle, and he starts dead-ass sprinting through the woods. Then the front porch light comes into view through the trees, and I say, "There it is." Then my uncle trips over himself, and we both catch air. I was flung a little higher, so I landed closer to the house than he did. I looked back at him, and he screamed to me to run and not worry about him. I didn't listen. I ran over to help him when something hit me square in the chest and knocked me back. "Don't look!" my uncle screams. I wish I had listened. I look up and see this man with a dog-like head and glowing solid white eyes. My uncle tries to scurry away from it, but it grabs him and picks him up to his feet and stares into his eyes. Then came a gunshot. The beast tossed my uncle into a tree and scurried away frightened. That's when my other uncle comes up from behind me and helps my uncle off the ground. I slowly stand up and wipe myself off and asked what the heck that thing was. The uncle that was with me says one word, "Skinwalker." Then all three of us go back up to the house. A couple days later, the uncle that was with me was deployed overseas to Korea for the army. We tried to forget about what we had seen and get it out of our minds. One night I woke up about 4 a.m. because I had a dream of it. I rubbed my eyes and let them adjust to the low levels of light to see two glowing eyes again right outside of my window. I grabbed the flashlight I had in my room for late-night bathroom runs and shined it at the window. Within a few seconds, that skinwalker thing ran away, and I have yet to see it again. To this day, both of my uncles have not spoken a word about it and refuse to speak about it. So, cut now. After he sees these eyes in his window, he and his friend decide they are going to go out to the tree that they call Broccoli Tree and document what they saw. Here is their documentation. 12:32 a.m. We just made it to the Broccoli Tree, which is the tree me and my uncle hung out in all the time before he joined the army. I'm not surprised that everything else except the tarp is almost completely gone from rotten bugs. I'll just put everything out that's rotted and toss it aside. I did bring a sleeping bag with me, so me and my friend Luke can use it to sit on. I'm going to go ahead and take a little nap. I'll update when I wake up. Should be in about an hour. 1:10 a.m. A little before the hour, Luke just woke me up to some noises nearby. Could just be a deer or maybe some other animal. I'm not really sure. Okay, it stopped moving. I think it's on the other side of the tree where the trunk is. That's definitely not an animal. We just heard this thing, whatever it is, growled. A very low growl, almost like it's in pain. It's been about 2 minutes. This thing is still on the other side of the tree. No, it just took off into the woods. It sounded like it was on 2 feet. I don't know what the hell this was. It definitely was not a human or any known animal. The thing sounded massive. I'm going to take a peek outside of the tarp. It seems to have gone. I'm going to step out and start exploring. We'll update soon. 2:30 a.m. Okay, we just made it back to the tree. There are definitely more than one of these things because we can hear them communicating back and forth from hilltop to hilltop. There seems to be 2, maybe 3. Still haven't laid eyes on them yet. Luke is going to try to take his nap while I have watch. What is it about these woods? Just the energy around them. I mean, hell, I've had 2 different experiences up here. One of them was a Bigfoot. I just don't understand why, yet at that same time, I don't know what I'm trying to understand. It seems like something isn't right about these woods. How can 2 completely different legends that many believe to be nothing more than a hoax exist in the same woods? Could it have been a skinwalker all along who's shape-shifted into a Bigfoot? Or is there a skinwalker and a Bigfoot up here? These are things I need to know. I have to know the truth. 3:30 a.m. So my friend Luke just kind of woke up from his little nap. I don't know if we ever really were sleeping. It kind of seems fitting that he kind of woke up at 3 a.m., devil's hour. Maybe something will happen, and I pray it doesn't cause us harm. This is when his friend Luke cuts in. It's all really creepy up here. It's definitely not a joke. It feels like I'm playing a real-life version of Dead by Daylight. It's got me on my edge. I would say I'm a little scared, but at the same time, I believe Brian. I know he didn't mention having any guns with us. I guess it's just one of those minor details that some people sometimes skip over. We've heard a lot of noises up here, some of which we can't explain right off the bat, and others we had to listen to for a little bit to figure out what it was. And then we have those ones we totally can't explain. We've heard almost like a howl, but it was much lower tone with much more bass. It could be what we are up here looking for. It's all quiet right now, but that could change any moment. I can feel that something's about to happen. 3:45 a.m. Something's outside of the tarp right now. I don't know what it is. It's on 2 feet. It has red eyes. It looks like it's going away now. I think we are going to wait, and then we are getting the hell out of here. 4:25. We got back to my house. My friend Luke left. What a crazy night that was. I know some people will say it's fake, but this was 100% true. I'm cutting in here on this one. I don't know why he keeps referring to this thing as a skinwalker. He's in Georgia. There's numerous accounts of Dogman and Bigfoot in Georgia. He's definitely not playing with a skinwalker. There's been any mention of shapeshifting. This previous encounter that he had with his uncle was 10 years ago. He woke up and then saw that thing looking in his window, went out into the woods with his friend just recently. Now we lead up to August 9th. I recently started dating this girl I met online. She and I instantly clicked. We found out both of us believed in things like skinwalkers and Bigfoots, so eventually we got comfortable enough to meet in person. She suggested I come out to her property in Alabama and walk around in the woods. Me being me, I instantly agreed. She lives on the very outskirts of a city called Grant, Alabama, right near the Cathedral Caverns. So her property was located on the same mountain as the Cathedral Caverns. She had about 4-acre property up there, so we explored it. So we head out at about 1 or 2 in the morning with our flashlights and knives in hand. We're out there for about 30 minutes or so when it started to rain a little bit. So we turned around and headed back to her house. On the way back, she keeps looking behind us. I notice this and ask her if she thinks we're being followed. She says yes, and I reply that I started feeling that way. Let's just get back to your house. About 20 minutes go by, and we are back in the clearing of her yard. I take about 15 steps into the clearing and just freeze on the spot and turn around. Right on the edge of the tree line, yet less than 40 feet away, I see this animal skull hovering about 8.5 feet off the ground with solid glowing white eyes. If I had to guess, it looked like a bull skull. She turns and sees me standing there, staring at this 8.5 foot tall being, and runs over and grabs my arm and pulls me up onto the porch. When we got to the porch, the thing was gone. A couple of hours go by and I'm out in my car vaping by myself. She had already gone to sleep and I was still trying to comprehend what I had just saw. It was at that moment I felt something push against the rear of my car. Not like hit it, but like how a cat will push up against somebody. I look through my driver's side rear view, and I see the same animal skull sticking out from behind my car. I did my best to stay as quiet as I could, as not to alarm it of my presence. Then somehow it locked eyes with me through the rearview mirror, and it was like it got hold of my mind and was trying to make me get out of the car and walk into the woods. I got as far as popping the door handle to unlatch the door before I snapped out of it and closed the door and locked it. I closed my eyes and pretended it wasn't there. About 5.5 minutes go by. I opened my eyes, and it was gone. I couldn't see it anywhere, so I opened my door and sprinted inside and stayed there until the sun came up. I didn't sleep that night. The sunrise started to roll up over the horizon, and as I walked out to my car to leave, my girlfriend gave me a hug and kiss and told me to be safe. I'm glad I didn't tell her then that the whole time we were standing next to my car with me facing the woods, I could still see it. Standing there staring at me, not moving. To this day, and I know I'll eventually tell her, she has no idea that thing has been watching my every move with extreme attention to detail.
Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed today's bonus as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Just a little thank you for supporting this channel, because after all, without you guys, this channel wouldn't exist. Once again, everyone stay safe, happy, and healthy, and may the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.